Have you ever heard of superheroes with super strength? Like someone who could lift a car or punch through a wall. Well, long ago, there was a real-life superhero named Samson, and his story is one of the most exciting tales you'll ever hear. He was super strong, super brave, and his adventures are totally epic. So, get ready, because we're about to dive into the incredible journey of Samson. It all started before Samson was even born. An angel appeared to his parents and gave them amazing news. They were going to have a son. But this wasn't just any baby. The angel said he would be special, chosen by God for a very important job. He was going to be a Nazirite. That's a big word, but it just means he was dedicated to God in a special way. He had 3 simple rules to follow. He couldn't drink grape juice or wine. He couldn't touch anything that was dead, and he could never, ever cut his hair. As long as he kept these promises, God would give him amazing, unstoppable strength to help protect his people, the Israelites, from their enemies, the Philistines. So, Samson grew up, and so did his hair. And just as the angel promised, he had incredible strength. One day, as a young man, he was walking near a vineyard when suddenly a huge lion jumped out and roared at him. What would you do? I'd probably scream and run away. But not Samson. The Spirit of God filled him with power, and with his bare hands, he fought the lion and won. He didn't even have a sword or a spear. He just used his super strength. It was his first big test, and it showed everyone that God was truly with him. This was just the beginning of Samson's amazing adventures. Samson's life was full of drama. He decided to marry a woman from the Philistines, which was a big no-no for the Israelites. At his wedding feast, he told a riddle to 30 Philistine men. He said, out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. He was talking about the lion he defeated, because later, he found bees had made a honeycomb inside the lion's body. The Philistine men couldn't solve the riddle, so they got angry and threatened his wife. She got scared and told them the answer. Samson was not happy about this. He felt betrayed. To get back at them, he came up with a wild plan. He went out and caught 300 foxes. Can you imagine trying to catch just one fox, let alone 300? Then, he tied their tails together in pairs with a flaming torch in the middle of each pair. He let the foxes run loose through the Philistines' fields of grain, olive groves, and vineyards. Whoosh! Everything went up in smoke. It was a clever, but very destructive way to show the Philistines they shouldn't have messed with him. This made the Philistines even angrier, and it led to more and more battles. The Philistines were determined to capture Samson. They gathered a huge army and went to Samson's own people, the Israelites, demanding they hand him over. The Israelites were scared. 3,000 of them went to Samson and said, "We have to tie you up and give you to the Philistines, or they will attack all of us." Samson agreed, but only if they promised not to hurt him themselves. So, they tied him up with 2 brand new ropes and brought him to the enemy. The Philistines saw him, all tied up, and started cheering. They thought they had finally won, but they were wrong. As they approached him, the Spirit of God rushed over Samson. He flexed his mighty muscles, and snap! The brand new ropes broke apart like they were just tiny threads. Samson looked around for a weapon, but there was nothing. No sword, no spear, nothing. Then he spotted it on the ground, the jawbone of a donkey. It wasn't much, but for Samson, it was enough. He grabbed that jawbone and charged into the army of Philistines. He swung it left and right, and with God's power surging through him, he defeated 1,000 soldiers all by himself. It was an incredible victory that showed that with God's help, even something as simple as a donkey's jawbone could become a mighty weapon. After that amazing battle, Samson became a judge for Israel, leading and protecting them for 20 years. He continued to have incredible adventures. One time, he was in a Philistine city called Gaza. His enemies found out he was there and locked the giant city gates, planning to trap him inside. They thought, now we've got him. They waited all night to capture him in the morning. But in the middle of the night, Samson just walked up to the city gates, pulled the huge, heavy doors right out of the wall, posts, bar, and all, and carried them on his shoulders. He didn't just carry them outside the city. He carried them all the way to the top of a hill. Can you imagine how strong you'd have to be to do that? The Philistines must have been shocked when they woke up and saw their gates were gone. So, what can we learn from Samson's early life? His story shows us that true strength doesn't come from big muscles, but from our connection with God. Samson was strongest when he was obedient. His story also teaches us that everyone makes mistakes. Samson made some really big ones. Samson's life, full of amazing victories and sad mistakes, reminds us to be wise in our choices, to stay true to our promises, and to always remember where our real strength comes from. He wasn't a perfect hero, but he was a powerful symbol of how God can use ordinary, and sometimes flawed, people to do extraordinary things. Thanks for joining me on this incredible adventure through the life of Samson. What a wild ride. Right, if you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing tales from the past. See you on the next part of Samson's life. God bless you.